Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. First item is agenda approval.
I'll move to approve if there's no additions or corrections.
I have no additions. I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any public input today? Hearing none, onto the consent agenda. Any concerns or anything?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, Steve?
This is Ted, I'll second.
Ted? Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And on to our first. Got employee recognition. Mike?
Good morning.
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 For employee recognition today in the County Administrator's Department, we have Jamie Crabtree, Executive Assistant, began the part-time position on February 23rd.
Welcome.
In Human Services, we have Erica Stevens Munich, Eligibility Worker, began the full-time position on February 23rd. And in the Sheriff's Department, we have Joanna Gilbertson, Administrative Assistant, is recognized for 5 years of service on March 1st.
Thank you, Mike. Highway Department.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. The first item we have today is to move to approve the bid for our 26 aggregate surfacing project. The low bid was Swenson Aggregate out of Pine River for a quote of $528,803.60. It did come in under budget, so we were happy with all the bids there, so.
I have a question looking at so it appears that you're gonna pave 89 all the way down to where it's paved?
So this will just be gravel, so.
It will just be
Yep,
gravel, so it's
so-
gonna be maintained as it was?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So we're just re-graveling 89 there, basically to kind of keep up with the maintenance on that road, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, we are re-graveling 89, 90, and 91, just a portion of 91. County Road 121, 115, 109, 108, and 119. A chunk of 119, so.
How do these numbers compare to a couple of the previous years?
Pretty close. I would say it's a little more than last year. But yeah, definitely still under our budget, so, yeah.
Tonnage wise, are they comparable?
Yeah,
as
we
far as
try and do
quantity?
about the same tonnage every year, just cause that's what we budget for, so it's similar, so, yeah.
Is there any townships that'll be part of this?
Yes, Crow Wing Lake is the one township involved, and they're doing, actually a pretty significant chunk of this project, about 100,000 of this is Crow Wing Lake, so, yeah,
Thank you.
yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
This is Ted, I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, second item we had, the highway department, we budgeted for an SUV for the engineering department, and then a pickup as well this year. The SUV, we're gonna use that to replace, Andrea didn't feel the need to have a pickup for her vehicle, so she's gonna take the SUV and we're gonna move the pickup into the engineering department, to replace one of the older vehicles in the engineering department. And the pickup for the maintenance will just be replacing one of our trucks that is towards the end of its life, we feel. So both of those trucks, the used ones, we'll see if there's any department that could use them. And if there isn't, we'll put them out for auction for the highway department to recoup those funds.
This is Char. I'll make a motion to approve low quotes on both vehicles.
Not the low quotes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I can
right.
explain that a little bit.
I must not have read that well enough. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're,
Feeling, yep,
Yeah.
okay, I see that.
they were close enough that we chose the local option there, so.
Okay, I will amend my motion to make that. So Thielen's and then Neighbor
Neighbors
Ford.
Ford.
Yep,
Yep,
yep.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, and then the last agenda item we had was to approve our street sweeping quote. This was the low quote from Sweep Pros for $17,675. That's kind of a maintenance project we do each spring to sweep off our bridges and also some urban curb and gutter areas to clean up the road salt from over the winter or sand over the winter, so.
I'm imagining a street sweeper would be spendy.
Yes, yeah, and that's why we only do it once a year, so it's tough to,
Yeah.
I don't know, to
Just
own our own,
one.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know the going price for a new one, but yeah, we just use it once a year, so we usually,
I'm sure they're over $17,000.
Yeah. so.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
That's all I had for agenda items. I can give a quick kind of construction update, just for this summer. So right now we do have one awarded project is our calcium chloride. That was to Envirotech. They had a multi-year contract there. And then we just awarded our aggregate surfacing project. We currently have two other projects that are being advertised right now. CASA 40, 50, and 86 is kind of one project there. And then County Road 116, those will be getting some pavement rehab this summer. Some plans in progress that we still plan to do this summer. We've got our annual county pavement striping and messages project, as well as our CASA 38 bridge replacement project. Our consultant is close to our 90% plan, so we're hoping to wrap that up here and get it advertised in the next month or so. CASA 30, we are planning to pave that whole stretch of road this summer. It's currently under, the Leech Lake Band is reviewing it because part of that road is on the reservation. So they got a 60-day review and then we'll advertise that project. We've got our District 2 striping plan that we'll be doing this year as well. That's kind of some federal money that goes towards updating our edge striping on some of our county roads. And then we're also gonna be helping Straight River Township with their bridge replacement there on 149th Avenue. So yeah, that's kind of the new projects, and then we do have CASA 1. This year we'll be finishing up the lighting, turf establishment, and punch list, kind of carried over from last summer there, so. Yeah, that's kind of what we got for this summer.
I do have a question about County State Aid 50.
Sure,
That's a load rated bridge?
it is, yes, that's,
And there's no, when is it due for replacement?
it's on the bridge priority resolution. So it's probably potentially our next one that would get replaced.
So maybe 3 to 5 years
Yeah.
out, depending on.
Yep, depending when we can get that
Bonding,
bridge
whatnot.
bonding, yep, that's correct.
Right.
So,
Okay, and then District 2, you said the District 2 striping.
Yep.
program? Is that including mumble strips and
No, that one's
ground
not
in
at,
edge line, or?
not at this time.
Okay.
There are some plans in the future that we've applied for some mumble strips there, but that's probably 4 or 5 years out yet. So we gotta apply for that federal funding so far in
Yeah,
advance there.
sure.
So this one, District 2, I think we're doing it alongside of Beltrami County and Lake of the Woods County. They kind of group them together there for a District 2 project.
Okay,
So,
all right.
You know, those rumble strips will even help you when the road's covered with snow.
Exactly.
You can tell where your lane is.
exactly, that is part of it. Andrea did apply for some mumble strip federal funding on CASA 4. That's kind of our main, or our busiest county highway. So we're gonna have to have some discussion on, what areas we wanna do them, you know. We'll have to keep in mind people's houses and lake areas is part of that discussion. So yeah, but I do think they do improve the safety of people running off the road, and like you said, even in snow events, it helps with that too, so.
All right, anything else? Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Oh, we need a motion here on the sweep, don't we?
Oh, yes.
I'll make the motion.
No, I've got one.
Oh,
Ted and
Oh,
Steve.
you do? Oh, okay, all right.
all right, thank you, guys.
Oh, that's right, you did. Yep.
Did we do it already?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right, natural resources.
Good morning. All right, I have 2 items today. First, we'll go with the easy one. Itasca Mantrap is looking to replace a lot of their overhead line with underground line. They came to me a few weeks ago and asked if we'd approve an easement for them to complete their underground line across TFL property. It'll be a 20-foot easement, utility easement. Pretty simple. It's just right along the ditch, not impacting any timber. It's south of Nevis. What's it say? Section 13 of 140-33. It's right outside the road right away onto TFL. So they felt that they should ask for the easement from the county, and I would suggest approval for this utility easement.
Since it's out of the right of way, do they then, some kind of marking there so that people know that there is underground power?
Yeah, and she told me that it does run in line with I don't know if it's RVig or CenturyLink or the internet lines. So there will be markings if need be. So yep.
Thank you.
I was wondering if it's in the right of way, why do they even need our permission?
I believe it's right outside the 33 feet or 66 foot
okay.
onto TFL. So.
Okay.
Yep, it would just be a 20-foot underground utility easement.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Next item might be the largest item probably in my whole career, maybe.
There's more to come.
Yeah, more to come though, in smaller pieces maybe, but. So we did receive bids Friday at 3 o'clock, and we opened them in front of a crowd of people. We had 9 bids for phase 1 improvement work at Deep Lake Park, which includes road work, utility work, parking lot, picnic shelter, lighting, concrete work, a whole skew of things. So out of 9 bids, they all came back very close, very similar to each other. The total bid, or bid alternate was the picnic shelter with concrete under it. The main bid was the larger value, that's the road work, parking lot, utility work. The total bids added together came out, Gordon Construction out of Monoman actually came out at the lowest bid. I believe Jeff gave you a list of what SRF gave to us. Gordon Construction was the lowest at $813,440. That's the lowest with the base bid and alternate bid together. LP Contracting actually came out with the lowest bid for the road work, and then I believe Weston Property Development came out with the lowest bid for the picnic shelter. But talking with a lot of these road construction companies, they didn't want to do the picnic shelter if they didn't have the road job also. So Gordon Construction, SRF has suggested we choose them as our company to work with. And they did provide paperwork that they said they would complete the tree clearing by March 31st, which there's a bat deadline with endangered bats, that the state has a regulation on tree clearing.
I was gonna ask you about that. So is it because they make their homes in the trees, or?
Yeah, it's called a hibernaculum, I guess.
Okay.
It's kind of like where they roost
Okay.
throughout the winter.
That's
or,
what I figured.
Or summer.
Summer, yep.
Yeah, summer, I should say.
They typically arrive early spring.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so the state has deadlines of March 31st on granted projects. Just some numbers I crunched this morning. The grant total that we received was $467,300. We've spent almost exactly $500,000 so far. So that would bring us to $967,300. And if we take the low bid from Gordon, which is $813,440, after this bid project, we'd have $153,860 left. So that gives us room to build, if we have to do any more design or signage or other things like that. So we will have a good, we are under budget, just to
Is the
tell you.
maintenance building included in this bid, or is that,
No.
we need that extra money for?
That wasn't included in the grant scope.
The maintenance building project does not, it was excluded from the scope and does not qualify. That's part of the county's match.
Okay.
So, as Corey mentioned, the leftover money will be able to be used for the balance of the archaeological study, additional planning studies, trail design, stuff that we have planned between now and phase two. So,
Basically, certain things we can spend it on, but things we can't.
correct, they won't let us spend it on the maintenance building. They basically said that's your cost share on this project.
Yep.
What was the deadline for utilization of these funds?
I believe it's July 1st, 27.
We're actually gonna be okay.
Yep.
They, it originally would have been July 1st, 26, but because of how late we got it, they rolled it all into the 25 grant issuance. So we had 3 years from then.
Okay.
Yep. And then I want to just mention that with Gordon's bid, they would be 18% under the engineer's estimate. So that was pretty nice to see. I looked at their history. They've done a lot of work at Itasca State Park and other parks in the region. So they do have a good resume. Just kind of looked at what they've done in the past and what they're willing or what they're able to do. So I believe they'll do good work if you guys choose that company.
Were they the ones that did the work at, the current trail work at Itasca? Do you know?
I don't think they did the bike trail work. I believe that was a person out of Little Falls, a company out of
Oh,
Little
okay.
Falls.
All
But they did, what do they have here?
Maybe with the pipeline?
Yeah, they did some of that. And then they did water access sites and road development within Itasca Park, which was $1,800,000. a job that high, so.
Oh, did they?
I think so.
They did, Foston Industrial Park expansion, airport infrastructure, Monoman County sidewalk improvements and trails. Yeah, they've just, they have a pretty good long list of projects they've done. They gave the 5% bid bond that they're required to do, so I think they have all their ducks in a row.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
I appreciate SRF developing all this information, but especially the color images that were there showing the overlay of the road
Sure.
and the parking and the shelter and everything. It kind of gives you a better idea of what it's actually going to look like in the end.
Then I did just ask him, for a new concept map, because things have changed a little bit. He said he'll be getting that to me shortly, so.
Okay.
I'll bring that to you guys when I get it. But otherwise, things are going good in the woods, and, we're expecting some warmer weather, so I think loggers are pushing to get things out as quick as possible, so.
I have heard just talk of a lot of paper mills and so forth shutting down. Is that
It is a struggle right now.
seeing an impact?
It is. We definitely saw it on our last auction. Prices were a little lower. It's around the whole state. People are seeing lower prices, but after they get through all this blowdown wood that was brought to them, I think
Yeah.
by this summer that it'll be
Oh, okay,
back up
alright.
and in the good again. But
The next auction.
the next auction is April 13th or 14th, whatever Monday is.
So that one will be affected by the prices then, for sure.
So I mentioned I kind of look at markets before we put on the auction. I kind of told the guys to try to focus more on pine for this auction, pine and conifers. We're still seeing pretty good markets for that. Aspen mostly goes to paper mills and into OSB, so those are the mills that are in a lull right now. So if we can, for this next auction, focus more on pine and
And always save
spruce.
on the stump for later.
Yeah, yep. But
So Corey, how long does a company have if they win an auction?
so they have 2 years, and then they can get a year extension if approved by me, essentially, if they have a good reason. Which I've been giving I've given a few extensions for a year just because some companies have been working in blowdown all summer.
That's what I was kind of wondering about.
Yep, and they haven't had time to get to their normal sales. So yeah, we appreciate them cleaning up, so we'll give in a little bit to extend it what they need.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then land sale still March 27th. Things are posted on our website. Been getting quite a bit of interest from those parcels, so good to see, good to hear. But yeah,
All right, thank you,
all
Carl.
right, enjoy the warmer weather.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, Human Services.
Give me a bid sheet to go with that, perfect.
Morning. In front of you today, I have a request for providing us access to setting up online bill pay through Citizens National for the purpose of paying client accounts through our social welfare fund. Historically, we wrote checks through our finance department, paid those bills without any issue. As of recent, providers are beginning to charge fees for checks. So to avoid those fees for these individuals who have limited funds, we can set up bill pay for these providers. So we're looking to do that just as a way to save those little bit of funds that those clients have. It's through our account that we already have. We've met with citizens, they can set it up, and we can tell them where the money needs to go and what days, and they're willing to do it. We just don't have authorization to do that.
Yeah, when I was just reading the background information, it says that providers are not charging fees for processing checks. So we just need to strike that "not" out of there in the background.
Just a mistype, sorry about that.
Because it was contradictory, the next part of the sentence, so, yeah. I was a little confused when I read it
I
really
was
quick
too.
at first. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute here.
Yeah,
But,
me too.
yeah.
Thank you for clarifying
It
that.
won't be my only typo.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. Oh, I do have a question. On our most recent debt collections policy that we had signed in October, part of that, we need to, I think it's quarterly, just show, present what's on the books to the board. And I wasn't sure, do you want that attached in a board meeting quarterly, or?
Is there anything not public information in that list? Or can it be redacted in such a way?
I can
that it-
redact it, so it's just numbers, yes.
Then I would guess that we would just do it as an update in a redacted form so the board can see it.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, administrative.
Well, good news, long time coming, but we do I have 5 contracts ready for signature, and I have 2 other agreements where I have firm voting that they are just, I'm waiting for them to get the contracts back to me. So we are at the point where we can ask the board for approval of all 7 of our union contracts. The basic elements have not changed since the final offer the county sent back in the first week of December, that we are, we'll have a 4% increase in 2026, retroactive January 1st, 3% January 27, and 3% January 28. We are continuing to split the increases in health insurance on the county-provided plan for 27 and for 28. We did add a step 11, as we had discussed, to the scale, and we'll be phasing out step 1, so that by the time we get to 27, this year we'll have 1 through 11. Next year, we're gonna have 2 through 11, and the third year, we're gonna have 1 through 10 again. So it'll be.
When is the next opportunity to pursue any sort of negotiations about health insurance?
The county will be out for bid again this summer.
Okay.
And so it's a good point to inject that next week's work session, we will have a presentation from Prime West, and we will have a presentation from the MNDNR next week for our work session. We are meeting quarterly with NIS, our benefits consultant. We'll be meeting second week in April with them. They'll be working with the benefits committee to go through the process of shopping again for 2027. We had a 2-year commitment on this one.
Were you anticipating Prime West would also do a presentation on Prime Health?
No,
Okay, because they wouldn't.
But no, Prime West will be presenting on their services.
Yeah.
But our shopping and or bidding for services will include Prime West Health as a provider in the area.
So did this align pretty good with what we budgeted, or is the first year higher than what we projected or levied for?
The first year is higher than we levied for, and when we approved the budget knowing that our offer was at 4%. And rather than me go through and identify, we're usually at 97.5% of budgeted labor. The board asked that we leave it at 100% so that we knew that, and we know that there's a gap there, and we know there's some that we're not gonna spend. But the budget was approved based on the understanding that 2026 was gonna be 4%.
So we need a motion to approve the
I'll move to
contracts.
approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good work.
It was a long time coming, and I will tell you that Commissioner Kruger and Commissioner Christensen's participation and conversation with our staff as stewards and those is really key in this. And we got to a point, we got to kind of an impasse where the one group had filed for mediation. And I think everybody else just held off for that 6-week period to find out what the result of that mediation was gonna be. Because in the last 3 weeks, we've been just really busy in formatting contracts and getting votes going through. And as I mentioned, the basic terms of the contracts are unchanged from the county's final offer that first week of December.
All right, anything else, Jeff?
I do not have anything else, I don't believe.
Committee reports. Who wants to start?
I can start.
You can go ahead, Tom.
You wanna?
I can if you want, that's not a problem.
Me.
Yeah, I'll start. I didn't have very many, just a couple. We had a preliminary meeting for the discussion of the proposal of a roundabout at the intersection of 6 and 15, right by Itasca Mantrap. Some of the city of Park Rapids was there to have input. We just talked about, what are the pros and cons? If a roundabout is created there, what is the need for a roundabout perhaps at the transfer station entrance? And what would that look like? Andrea provided us with a little bit of a drawing from a prior investigation of that area. So it would be
Would there be enough private land there that could be accessed?
at the
At the
transfer
s- yeah,
station.
uh-huh.
It would be an offset kind of roundabout to address the entrance coming from, by the tractor grounds.
Yep.
So it'd be kind of I look at it as kind of a lopsided roundabout. And of course, I think we would have to purchase some right away or whatnot because there's a house that's kind of getting a little bit closer on that northwest corner. But I don't think that second lot that's close to the road is buildable. I don't think that's large enough to be buildable. So she was just kind of looking into some ideas and what would work best. The next step is gonna be reaching out to Itasca Mantrap and other entities that might be involved in the discussions. The utility providers there, Arvig and so forth. This wouldn't happen until 2029, so it's a ways out.
Are you looking at federal dollars?
Yes, she's been awarded dollars for this already.
Okay.
It's just gonna take some time to get everything kind of in the ballpark. But the one, if we decided to do something at the transfer station, that would be all county dollars. So she would really have to look into moving money around and projects around in order to facilitate being able to do something. So the argument can be made, is it better to do one disruption in traffic, or to do one first and then maybe the following year or 2 years later do another one? And there was discussion also about the really poor truck access at Citizens National, or not, Northwoods Bank and T&M Express right there. That is not a very truck-friendly intersection. And we don't know exactly what the transfer station's plans are for traffic flow. Say, construction demolition is no longer being accepted here, but is there gonna be a small project? Can you drop it off and then it gets loaded and hauled? Or does everything just get sent to another site for construction and demolition? So those are things that are still kind of to be discussed. And I guess one thing is she would like to see more of a sort of a traffic plan from solid waste within their facility, and how they plan on getting trucks out and in and so forth, and what's the future expansion. Is there an alternate route that could be followed? Could we go down, could the entrance at that intersection, maybe we could look at eliminating it and putting another entrance from the south. There would be right-of-way purchase and whatnot that would have to happen, but that's another discussion, over the next few years that can happen. to see where that's gonna go. And then we also discussed the 107, you know, what are we gonna do with 107 and 4 and 34? That was another topic. And a lot of discussion has to happen with the state and what their plan is and what they really want to see for solutions to those problems. I mean, do we think about putting a cul-de-sac by the Red Barn on 107 and then taking over that short piece of road that the township has there south of 4 that runs over to 107 and putting a roundabout there at 107, 34, and 4? Would that make sense? There's a lot of things a lot of moving parts that need to be discussed and analyzed. But she was going to talk to MnDOT and see what their future prospective plans are to address that area. And then other areas within the city too that are, can be kind of complicated. And then, as long as we're talking about that, the city is considering extending Charles Street. So that might help HRA. And what has to happen there, there was a little bit of consideration of going all the way across over to Career Path, you know, if it makes sense, and if the money is there. So, and also improving the street coming from Charlie's and going north up to Charles. So there's a lot of options, but it's all gonna come down to, okay, what makes the most sense and where's the money coming from to do these things. The other one I had was, our opioid settlement committee met, and we discussed basically how we want to move forward with the expenditure of the dollars that are there in that fund. There's I believe it's $780,000 that we received in opioid settlement money. The county is holding the money, but we're trying to develop some sort of guidelines to talk about, okay, if we're gonna have requests supplied to us or proposals supplied to us, you know, what is the criteria it has to meet? And how do we track the usefulness of that money to make sure, to verify that it isn't being misused and for a non-intended purpose of what the memorandum of understanding is that came from the state. I haven't seen the memorandum yet. Angie was gonna develop or forward that to us, and we could all read through it. And then are we acceptive of county departments giving us proposals or giving that group proposals, and then the group advisory group gives them to us to approve the expenditures or not? I didn't want to get too far into it. So I guess, you know, we need to think about, are we comfortable with county departments utilizing that money as long as it meets the memorandum guidelines? I don't see why not, as long as it meets the guidelines. But that's as far as we got. And Angie was going to work on rereading some things and then looking at other examples from other counties and see what they've done and see how it all kind of connects and how we can utilize those monies. It's a shame to have them sit there when, you know, there's a lot of people struggling with dependency on that, and anything we can do to either help them recover or treatments or help them stabilize some sort of housing or jobs and so forth, you know, it'd be nice to be able to utilize that. Then we also kind of need to think about, okay, well, how can we prevent? You know, what are the steps that can be taken in prevention? I know law enforcement had some ideas, and then there were other people on the committee that had some good ideas too. The people that had interest were gonna develop just some rough proposals so that we at least had a idea of what they were talking about and maybe some dollars attached to it. But we still have to develop that guideline first to make sure they check all the boxes and that things can move forward, basically in a transparent way, and then also in with definite accountability of the dollars being spent. And that's all I had.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, going along with that, just for prevention, the HIP Policy Committee is meeting this Wednesday. And one of the things we're gonna look at is the Sherburne County and the Columbia Heights City Council have both drafted ordinances on the restrictions of flavored vape. Because that leads to addiction, that can lead to addiction further down the road. So I don't know how that will be developed for preventative, but just a note on that. Family Safety Network, I had a meeting in that. The numbers are actually down for Hubbard County receiving services at this time, and they're not quite sure why, but, and then also, they're gonna try open a physical office in Clearwater County to service that area. And then, in Mojave, bids went out for the tiny homes for construction. That was kind of a quiet month. Do you want to cover heritage and HLDC? Okay, that's all I have.
So HLDC, we have, this spring we'll be breaking ground on Heartland Heights, so. We opened the bid yet? We haven't opened bid yet. They go out here
Yeah,
this month or this week or something,
the end
pretty
of
quick.
February, the bids went out. I can't remember the date for opening them.
I think it's,
In March. But anyhow, they'll be coming in and then we'll be doing work on that this summer, so that's good.
And people are interested in the
Yeah,
lots.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some more preliminary work to go on how to market the lots and things like that that are being worked on too, but a lot of it you can't do till you get the bids in, so you kind of know what your costs are and do it, and we'll go from there, but. Had a fuel facility meeting. The only thing that's really of any significant change is the schools are moving away from diesel and to gas, because apparently the mileage is pretty much close to the same on the buses now, so we'll be switching one of the diesel tanks over to gas. So not a real hard thing to do, just drain the tank, I guess, and you can fill it with gas, so.
Really? Is that easy?
Yeah, because it'd be so diluted, whatever was
Oh,
left on the
okay.
bottom, that
Sure.
it really wouldn't matter.
Right.
Let's see, and then Heritage. For January, our CMS overall star rating was 5, health inspection was 5, quality measure was 3, staffing was 4. And again, that Minnesota nursing home report card has not changed. They haven't updated that. That's still 2. 5 hires, 4 terminations, 2 open FTEs. As far as census, the manors at 25 out of 26. The cottages are at 16.26 out of 18 for the month, and Heritage Living Center was at 38.9 for the month. Cash flow, Heritage Manor, cash flow 55,304, cottages 9,684, and Heritage Living Center was a negative 18,521 for a combined total of 46,467. And as of our meeting day last week, census was 17 of 18 in the cottages, and Heritage Living Center was 41, and the manor was 25. So there we go, that's what I have.
Well, I had 2 meetings. One was the Parks Board. Let's see, they're planning the ribbon cutting for that tunnel trail in the spring. And they're going to get some local representatives there, and they'd like county commissioners to be involved with it too.
We don't have a date yet, though.
Not a date yet. It'll be coming up. Maybe we'll find out at the next meeting. Oh yeah, there's some money left over from building that tunnel to do an additional 4 miles from the tunnel and on. They're gonna be getting started on that when they're able to, but then beyond that, they need 11 more miles to meet up with the trailhead in Emmaville. And for that, they'll need a grant for approximately $6.25 million for it, which they're gonna be applying for. And they do have local support of our local legislators for that, so maybe they'll get it.
Seems like once a program like that starts, they keep moving forward with it. It just doesn't die, it just takes a while.
Oh, yeah, that's what I told the board on Monday was, maybe that was part of the plan, you get the tunnel built, and then, wow, they spent the money on that, oh, we gotta go finish this now. Then I had the SWCD meeting, and they are restructuring how they're doing the administration of the SWCD. They will not be replacing Crystal. What they're gonna do is have two co-administrators. One will be Jake. He will be in charge of programs and partnerships, and the other will be Megan Fitzgerald. She'll be administration and grants. And so we'll see how that works out for them. Oh, and another thing that, if you remember, we did go and increase the SWCD's budget, or their ask, by $20,000 for the purpose of assisting them in finding solutions for the Beltane water situation, high water. And they at this last meeting, they did table it for next month for, I guess, when they want more bids on it. But that's where that's at. We just gotta make sure they follow through with that, because we
Yeah.
did increase their budget by $20,000 for this purpose.
Jake reached out to me the other day too, and we're gonna, three of us are gonna meet, Jeff, him and I, probably next week sometime.
Okay, good.
To make sure, he's trying to get up to speed and be aligned with what we intend them to use the funds for.
Okay.
Get that rolling.
It was my understanding that's what that extra $20,000 was for.
Well, for the step of informing the public of what the problem is and communicating that to create buy-in, hopefully, and let people understand what the actual problem is.
Yeah, and then also contract to find, not implement, but find solutions.
Yeah, the next step after that, though, would be to do an RFP for a feasibility study.
Okay.
Because that would be a lot more than, feasibility study would be kind of spendy. And we're hoping to get a grant for that.
Okay. All right.
So we'll go through all that and get aligned, figure out what we have to do, because we have to form some sort of committee with the interested parties that are gonna be affected by this.
Okay.
And then we have to communicate the problem to everybody else that's involved.
All right, that's all I got.
Let's see, first I had the HRDC, we welcomed a new member, Elizabeth Dicker Weigel from the city of Baudette, so she'll represent small cities in Lake of the Woods County. Looking at an opportunity to work with Clearwater County on developing a strategic plan for projects that they want to implement in cities in Clearwater County. Placemaking recap, grant period, so they talked about the work that they did with placemaking grant, and most of that was done in the city of Bemidji. Let's see, went over the budget, got our 2024 year budget completed. That was a long time coming, but now they're in line to do the 2025 budget. We did a banking change, had a couple of banks, we actually reached out to 5 different banks in the area after talking with even more than that. Whittled it down to the final 2 banks that gave us really good interest rates on money that are gonna be in our deposit, in our accounts and stuff like that. Let's see. And went over the RTCC resolution, just okayed to get a grant from the MnDOT to do some more road work planning. Steve probably knows more about that kind of stuff. Let's see, then after that, I had a Northwestern Minnesota Juvenile Center meeting. That was an executive board meeting, so there really wasn't a whole lot. Superintendent expenses, the financial reports. We kind of went over the programming and some of the projects that we would like to do, but it all, of course, depends on funding. And then we talked about, it seems like we are always talking about policy updates. It seems like the state keeps changing stuff, so we have to change stuff to keep in line with that. Let's see, also had HRFC, which is the Headwaters Regional Finance Corporation. Went over their, the portfolio, the amount of cash that we have borrowed out, the active loan list, some of the targeted portfolio stuff that we're looking at, loan activities, reviewed the financial statements, went over the annual confidentiality and conflict of interest agreements. And some of the stuff, of course, is protected information. I was happy to see that there is activity in Hubbard County and some specifically in my district too, so I was happy to see that we're helping out small businesses in Hubbard County with financing. And a lot of it is gap financing. We don't compete with other banks. And let's see, in Mississippi Headwaters Board, we didn't have a January meeting. That was canceled because we had no actionable items that we had to statutorily take care of. And it was 20-some below zero with all these people coming from 6 different counties. We figured it would be safe to postpone that meeting or cancel it. So our February would have been our first meeting of the year, which again, we elect chairman, vice chair, and secretary treasurer. 7 years ago when I got on that board, it used to be on a rotation, kind of like we're doing here. But there was some board members that felt that they wouldn't be able to serve because if they were only there for a certain amount of time, it didn't line up with their terms. So we changed it to where you could, be elected whatever year. Well, then they make me chairman 3 years in a row, which I didn't like. I expressed that last year and I expressed it again this year, so they did actually elect somebody else to be chairman. So I appreciate that. Let's see. We went over the press releases and stuff like that. Went over a short video that the DNR has put out about litter on the lake. It's kind of like the Keep It Clean campaign, but started up on Red Lake and some of these bigger lakes. It's kind of been spreading, and the DNR this is their version of Keep It Clean, and it was kind of a nice short video. Let's see, there was no planning and zoning. We went over, we're looking for more funding, so we talked about that. Talked about some of the stuff for the Mississippi Headwaters Habitat Corridor project. Let's see. Went over our tentative schedule, stuff like that. Then we had the performance review for our executive director. And then at the end, our meeting ran late. It was over 3 hours long. So we did add a discussion about the Mississippi Headwaters Board. Some of us members are kind of wondering what exactly is our responsibility. Are we staying in our lane, or are we spreading out too much? Are we becoming a bureaucracy that's growing that really doesn't need to grow? So we started that conversation, and I asked them to contact other commissioners that used to be on the board and see what information they can get from them. And that's it.
Dave, I just have a comment. At the HLDC meeting, Mary had presented what she presented here to the EDA meeting. And I started doing some research on Ottertail County because they've been really aggressive for their growth and their rehab. And so from 2019 to 2025, they either have new or rehab 3,400 units in their county, which is added to $900 million in new tax base. They're being very aggressive in how they're advertising, and they actually have taken out advertising at the Target Center down in Minneapolis, or St. Paul, wherever. And then someone I talked to from Ottertail County this last week was bragging about their new pool. And so I asked how it was funded, and they had no clue. So I looked that up. They did a 0.5% sales tax, and they raised over $10 million. They built the pool. Their sales tax continues, plus, whatever it costs to use the pool. And last year, they actually had $77,000 left over after paying their operating expenses.
Wow.
Wow.
So I thought all that was really interesting. I'm just passing on information.
Usually those kinds of things don't make money,
Yeah,
so it's nice to see that one is.
yeah, and I also talked to someone involved in the Walker Community Center, and they up their fees for the organizations that use them on a regular basis, including pickleball. They're charging a fee, so
Yep.
that's one way they're trying to correct their deficit.
Yeah, they've been struggling for quite some time.
Yep.
.5 add on to sales tax, sales tax, is that what you said?
The 0.5%, yep.
Yeah, that can add up.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's gotta be legislatively approved, I would assume.
Can we do
I
something?
don't know, I didn't research that far.
Can we do something like that for the general budget at the county?
Yeah.
And I didn't research if they've done anything with sales tax dollars for the roads. I just
Right.
strictly looked at the pool.
All right, anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
This Ted, I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, meeting adjourned. No, when you filled in for me.